This the best you can do? No new style?
Discography breakdown.
What artists make up the 80s and early 90s hip hop era? Slick Rick, who released his first album, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, in 1988. Big Daddy Kane, who released his first album in 1988, Long Live the Kane. EPMD, who released the first album, Strictly Business, in 1988. DOC, who released his first album, Nobody Can Do It Better, in 1989. NWA, who released their first album, Straight Outta Compton, in 1989. Ice Cube, as a solo artist, who released his first album, America's Most Wanted, in 1990. Rakim, who released his first album, Paid in Full, in 1987. Marley Marl, who released his first album in 1988, In Control Volume 1. KSR1, aka The Blastmaster, who released his first album, Criminal Minded, in 1987. MC Lyte, who released her first album, Light as a Rock, in 1988. LL Cool J, who released his first album, Radio, in 1985. Kid and Play, who released their first album, Too Hype, in 1988. Salt and Pepper, who released the first album, Hot, Cool, and Vicious, in 1986. Gangstar, who released the first album, No More Mr. Nice Guy, in 1989. Groove Be Chilled, who released the first album in 1990, Starting from Zero. D Nice, who released his first album, They Call Me D Nice, in 1990. The Jungle Brothers, who released the first album, Straight Out the Jungle, in 1988. MC Shan, who released his first album, Down by Law, in 1987. Roxanne Shante, who released her first album, Bad Sisters, in 1989. Run DMC, who released the first album, self-titled Run DMC, in 1984. Tragedy Gaddafi, who released his first album, Intelligent Hoodlum, in 1990. Moni Love, who released her first album in 1990, Down to Earth. Queen Latifah, who released her first album in 1989, All Hail to the Queen. Native Tongue. De La Soul, who released their first album in 1989, 3 Feet High and Rising. DJ Quick, who released his first album, Quick is the Name, in 1991. Compton's Most Wanted, who released the first album, It's a Compton Thing, in 1990. MC8 as a solo artist, who released his first album, We Come Strapped, in 1994. The Sugar Hill Gang, who released the first album, self-titled Sugar Hill Gang, in 1980. Grand Master Flash and the Furious Five, who released the first album, The Message, in 1982. Kwame, who released his first album, Kwame the Boy Genius, featuring A New Beginning, in 1989. A Tribe Called Quest, who released the first album, People's Instinctive Travel and the Path of Ram, in 1990. Poor Righteous Teachers, who released the first album in 1990. Brand Nubian, who released the first album, All for One, in 1990. The Beastie Boys, who released the first album, License to Ill, in 1986. Public Enemy, who released their first album, Yo Bum Rush the Show, in 1987. Dana Dane, who released his first album in 1990, Dana Dane with Fame. Cool G Rap, who released his first album, Road to the Riches, in 1990. The Juice Crew, Biz Markie, who released his first album, Going Off, in 1988. Lord Finesse, who released his first album, Funky Technician, in 1990. Das FX, the hip-hop duo, who released the first album, Dead Serious, in 1992. The Fresh Prince, better known as Will Smith, who released his first album, Rock the House, in 1987. Heavy D, who released his first album, Living Large, in 1987. Cool Mo D, who released his first album, self-titled Cool Mo D, in 1986. Ice-T, who released his first album, Rom Pays, in 1987. Cypress Hill, who released the first album in 1991, self-titled Cypress Hill. Above the Law, who released the first album, Living Like a Hustler, in 1990. Houdini, who released the first album, self-titled Houdini, in 1983. Leaders of the New School, who released the first album, A Future Without a Past, in 1991. This group features Busta Rhymes. This is where his career started at. Curtis Blow, who released his first album in 1980, self-titled Curtis Blow. MC Hammer, who released his first album in 1986, Feel My Pain. Chubb Rock, who released his first album in 1991, The One. The list goes on and on. The next episode will be about the top producers of the 80s and early 90s era. Discography breakdown.